30.4 fastest laps, like 2 seconds quicker than anybody else went all day. So don't let anybody tell you this wasn't a dominating win for Valtteri Bottas. This was. That showed how much pace he had in hand and how confident he was in that car. As I say, the Mercedes, a really good car around Turkey all weekend, in the dry and in the wet. And Lewis Hamilton showed that as well from his P11 start. Yeah, a lot of things could have gone wrong for him. He could have got involved in some sort of first corner schmozzle. He kept his nose clean there. He lost quite a lot of early time behind Yuki Tsunoda, who was enjoying, I'm sure, his P9 starting position and leading the 7 times world champion and doing a pretty good job, not really making any mistakes. But it was interesting seeing those two because Yuki was just doing what you'd expect him to do, just driving absolutely on the racing line, the geometrical racing line, and doing a good job, not really locking up under brakes and doing things correctly. But you could see Lewis behind him just using all sorts of bits of road that Yuki wasn't even thinking of going near, trying the outside, trying the inside, doing this, just filling his mirrors, but also feeling where the grip was. And then suddenly, zap, Lewis got him on the outside of, I think it was turn 3, one of the tight corners before the plunge downhill. And that wasn't just a gap there that Lewis went. That was Lewis knowing what the grip level was on the outside because he'd been playing with the grip level there on the previous laps. And that was, I wonder whether Tsunoda would have thought, yeah, that was a very smart move by Lewis. And, I need to put that in the memory bank for next time. Probably not, but, that was a really, really nice move by Lewis, I thought. And then later in the race, having passed a few more cars, Lewis found himself about 6 seconds behind Sergio Perez in the other Red Bull Honda, and he'd been going pretty well. As I said yesterday, he's looked pretty good all weekend, and he's good at Turkey. He always has been good at Turkey, in Turkey, and it was interesting then because Lewis's tyres were starting to overheat, and it was a moment when he had free track, so you could see he backed away, and his lap times fell away by about a second, but they fell away into this incredibly consistent groove. So although he was going a bit slower, looking after the tyres, he was still remorselessly catching Perez. It was a really nice bit of Lewis's race as well, I thought. And then when, of course, the tyres got their grip back again, he just went for it, set fastest lap, and all of a sudden he's on Perez. And he caught Sergio. And then, it was a really interesting section of Sector 3, Lewis is past Sergio basically, but Sergio's still on the inside going into the hairpin and holds position. And I've got to say here, and I've been saying this for years and years and years, ever since in his first season in Formula One, Max got stuck behind Sergio Perez in the Mexican Grand Prix when Sergio was driving for Force India and just couldn't get past him. And I was thinking, I made a note then, this guy Perez, when he gets in a groove, his defence is unbelievably good. And I've made that point a few times. And he was driving beautifully in defence with Lewis. His lap times were dropping by about a second and a half in doing what he had to do. But he was just using all the road. And they came round the hairpin, side by side, into the next right, side by side. Lewis tried to edge him, but didn't do it too much, then went back to the outside. And then they went down out of the last corner, side by side. And Sergio still held position going into turn 1. Really nice bit of driving by both of them. Very clean, but, that's what we want from Formula One. It was just really good. I was thinking then, I wonder if Max was in that car, if it would have ended up the same way. It probably would, I think, because it was all slow speed stuff. Very like the Max Lewis stuff on the slow speed corners we saw at Silverstone in the British Grand Prix on that opening lap.